y'all, I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate. We're Real Estate Elevated, and I'm bringing you another episode of I'm moving to North Carolina, now what? So today we're going to get a little hyper-local and talk about Cary. Cary tends to be a very popular area for folks who are moving to the Triangle to kind of land. Part of that comes from the proximity to RTP, the airport, and downtown. But there are some things you need to know if you're considering buying a home in Cary. So here are our top 6 tips of things to pay attention to so that you're in the know and can make that decision, is Cary really the right place for you? The first one is that you want to check out the local schools. Cary has one of the highest numbers of capped schools in our district. Wake County has over 200 schools, and a small portion of them are at capacity. That's what capped means. So they have kind of an affinity school, an overflow school that your student could get designated to. So what does that mean? Well, the cap date is something you want to be aware of. These cap dates, some of them are from 2012 to now, but it means that once that date was set, anybody who purchased a home in that base map from that point forward would be open to the overflow school. Every year our school board does do a little re-eval, and they decide if the schools still need to have that cap or not. There were actually 3 this past February that are removed from the list for next school year. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to the updated information. But if you're in a capped school location, do you have the potential of being sent to the overflow school? This is really important too if you're looking for walkability and the school is what I like to say spitting distance from where your house is, and all of a sudden your students are now going to the school down the road. That could actually impact whether or not you go after that particular house. The second thing that we see a lot in Cary is larger due diligence. Keep in mind, due diligence is something that we have here in North Carolina. It's 3 things. It's a deposit, it's an action, and it's a window of time. I'm specifically talking about the deposit. So that due diligence deposit is money that you, the buyer, give to the seller when you go under contract. The seller holds said money until closing day, where it comes back to you as a credit. So if you walk away from the contract for any or no reason at all, the seller gets to keep that money free and clear. So it's really important that you understand Cary has a larger due diligence, meaning you're giving more money to the seller. So make sure it's equitable based on the price point. Ask your agent if there are particular neighborhoods where the due diligence is even more substantial. There were a few neighborhoods in Cary in particular that we saw down payments becoming the due diligence amount. It's definitely scaled back a little bit since the COVID market, but it is definitely still something to be aware of. The third thing is master plan communities. Love them or hate them, they exist in Cary. One big one is Preston. Preston was actually built when SAS brought a lot of their folks to the community, and it really got built out in the late 80s, early 90s. So that is what we consider master plan, meaning your life is in the neighborhood. So it's not just the homes. You have the amenities, the school, the retail, everything is right there, all in one location. So is a master plan community something that you're interested in? Also, keep in mind, a lot of times there's dual HOAs. So it's not just the community HOA, there also could be a local HOA or cost that you have to pay per month, per quarter, or per year. The fourth thing is understand that Cary splits 2 counties. Almost every single town and municipality here in Wake County splits between Wake and somewhere else, so one of our secondary counties. Cary actually crosses the line between Wake and Chatham County. And yes, there are actually neighborhoods like Montvale, for example, that neighborhood itself splits between 2 different counties. So it's really important that if you are only interested in one side or the other, that you put that as part of your search parameters. Now, the fifth thing is keeping in mind that, and I joke about this all the time, our municipality maps look like a kindergartner got a hold of a crayon, sneezed while drawing them because our lines are nuts. So there might be parts of Cary that are actually further away from the things that are important to you, like RTP or the RDU airport, than other municipalities or zip codes. For example, the 27606 part of Raleigh, Holly Springs, and Apex, or even parts of Morrisville might be closer to RTP than some parts of Cary. So talk to your agent again about that and make sure you're not discounting other areas just because it happens to not fall in Cary jurisdiction or have that Cary address, if you will. The sixth thing that is more geared towards particular homes that's really important is, like I said earlier, Cary was built out predominantly in the 80s and 90s. So you do have homes that have materials that we don't necessarily see used today. Polybutylene pipes is something to be aware of. Masonite siding is another one. Masonite actually had a class action lawsuit against it. There are homes that are in perfectly good condition that have Masonite, but it's something you want your inspector to evaluate when you go under contract. Same thing with those polybutylene pipes. Agents don't have to necessarily disclose that they exist if they're in perfectly good condition. So the mere existence of them is not the issue. It's whether or not they've been replaced or had previous leaks. And keep in mind too, polybutylene, it's not the pipe itself, it's the fixtures that really are the issue because they had been known to rupture. So this is a conversation you want to have with your home insurance agent. There are some home insurance policies that don't marry up well with polybutylene, so it's really important that you have that conversation, hopefully before you even put an offer out, so that you can kind of navigate those waters. So those are 6 very different but all very important things that you need to be aware of if you're moving to Cary or hopefully moving somewhere around that Cary area. I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate. Be sure to like, share, and follow us for more episodes on YouTube and Spotify. We'll see you next time.